to the Center for Spiritual Living right here in Fullerton, California. My name is Tomoka Rosas, and I'm a practitioner at this beautiful spiritual community. Please join me in stating our purpose statement. We are a loving spiritual community, empowering all to live healthy and successful lives through practicing the principles of science of mind. And before we get started, I have some announcements. Fall class Science of Mind 101 has started last week, and it was wonderful. We have a wonderful group of students, and I'm looking forward to how this class unfolds. You still have time to join if you like, and the time has changed to 6 to 9, so it's easier for everybody to be here. And if you like to join us in that class, and you haven't talked to me yet, please come see me. Next Sunday is our Thanksgiving and Commitment Luncheon. Please sign up so we know how many people to prepare the food for. And everybody's welcome. So bring your family, kids, grandma, grandpa, everybody if you like. We'll continue to collect money for Pathways of Hope Holiday Food Pantry. And they do prefer money this year since COVID time and all of that, and then they know how to stretch our dollars way further than we can. So if you like to donate, there are boxes for Thanksgiving and then also Christmas at the snack table. Sunday, December 12th is our next holiday fun lunch and paint with Karen Thomas. I'll have a sign-up sheet for next week, and it's $20, and it includes light lunch, and it's so much fun. It's by popular demand, so please join us. And be sure to join us for our family candlelight service. It is the most beautiful service all year. Of course, every Sunday is beautiful, but this is the best one all through the year. So this is going to be at 7 p.m. We'll be serving light dinner for free, 6:30 p.m. So please join us. Everybody's welcome. Unexpected Income Club is doing so good, and we have combined it with our building fund for our new church, and next year we're planning a visioning session for our new church building. Yes, church building. So I'll have more information on that in the next few weeks. And Reverend Bill's book, Live Your Best Spiritual Life, Kindle version is on sale only for 99 cents. 99 cents for only this week. And let's see, how to go get that downloaded is at Amazon Kindle. So if you read off of Kindle, please be sure to download that book. It's a great book. So, all right, and that's it for me, and I'll pass it on to Sally.
Please join me in our invocation of the living Spirit, God, right here in our midst, and right here and right now. Today we celebrate together the creative energy, the everlasting love of the universe. We are so grateful for all the blessings that we share today. Each one here and those sharing with us virtually. We're grateful for the beautiful music of Tommy and Terry Wilder. We're grateful for our faithful ushers and for the members of our wise board of trustees. We couldn't function without our dedicated, prayerful practitioners. They're blessings for our little children and their teachers. And we are so grateful for all who have planned and worked to make this sanctuary a true sanctuary for us all. We're grateful for our pastor, Reverend Bill Salisbury, whose message today reminds us to be Grati-tutors. I'm so grateful to be here and sharing this morning with all of you, and with our loving Spirit right in the middle of us all. I know this perfect service is perfect and just as it must be. And so it is. Amen.
I need to be still, let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When this old world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still and let God love me.
Thank you, Terry. So when I saw the theme for the talk today about being a Grati-tutor, I searched and searched for something about learning or lessons or teachers or tutors or something. And finally, yesterday afternoon around 5 p.m., I found it. And it's called Family Lessons of Love. The author says, out walking my dog recently, I spotted a neighbor washing his car by hand. Intently focused, he cleaned each section with a soft cloth, a bucket of soapy water beside him in the driveway. In that moment, there stood my dad. It doesn't matter that the two men looked nothing alike, or that my father passed on 9 years ago. I felt my dad's essence so clearly because he always washed his cars by hand. He instructed us kids to take care of the things we love. My yard chore with him was to trim the hedges. The shears were heavy in my young arms. Father told me to step back often to gauge my work and make changes if needed. This shaped my inner artist to recognize symmetry, form, and composition. He taught me the names of all our local birds and how to whistle in tune with them. The lesson was, he taught me to recognize God in every part of nature. The scent of cookies cooling on a metal rack brings my mother Ruth clearly to mind. Every December, my brothers and I mixed and baked peanut butter cookies as soon as she left the house to do her annual Christmas shopping. That aroma mingles with the secret-keeping joy we felt by making cookies just for her. She had the skill to act amazed and surprised every single year. One of the kindest people I've ever met, my mother smiled and said hello to everyone. She was compassionate, truth-centered, and taught me to look for the good always. Her hugs were abundant. The kitchen table stayed open for late night talks when I was angsty, and she encouraged my art. The lesson from my mom was she helped me see God in all people. Long after her eyesight faded, my Grandma Jo, would sit and knit by the window of her single room, her German Bible close by. God was a fact to her, not a concept. For years, she filled our lives with colored yarn, turned into doilies, hats for those Wisconsin winters, and mittens for sledding and skating. Then she took on bigger projects, afghans in vibrant blue, coral, and yellow to drape at the foot of our beds. Some days when I sat with her at the window, handing her the bright balls of yarn, she would forget my name. With love, I would remind her. She told lively tales of her childhood in Austria and the 1905 ocean crossing that brought her, brave and alone at age 14, to New York and then to Chicago. And then I would retell our stories, the ice cream shop we'd visit in her neighborhood, and my first Disney movie she took me to see when I was 8. And now, when I see sunsets blanketing the sky in coral and yellow and blue, I see my grandmother. My lesson from my grandmother was she showed me what faith and resiliency really are. Of course, families and relationships are not only hugs and acts of loving kindness. Feelings can get wounded, words may hurt, and negative actions or unkind treatment can linger in our minds and hearts. I was blessed to have these 3 people and others like them in my life. Circumstances that seemed to block the positive progression of my life. Relationships that felt extremely challenging and hurtful. Spiritually, we can approach life from a higher level. We get to choose what we think about and how we think about it. We can look into situations or relationships to discover what we have learned. Are we stronger? Are we wiser? What is the blessing? How have we grown? Now join me in prayer. Finding new insights, we bless our lives and all the people therein. We move forward with confidence, faith, and strength. In deepest gratitude, I release these words, letting lessons be, and so it is.
Stillness, I rest in perfect love. I am one with awareness. I breathe in perfect love. Of the moment is whispered perfect love. I am one with the presence. I breathe in perfect love. I am perfect love, only perfect moments, only perfect love, into peace, into stillness is whispered perfect love. I am one with the presence. I breathe in perfect love. I am perfect love.
Well, good morning. Continuing with our overarching theme this month of gratitude. The title of today's talk is Be a Grati-tutor. First thought that came to my mind was be a gratitude tutor. But there's just something about the way that came out that made me kind of change. Perfect love indeed. Perfect love, of course, gives way to and underpins perfect gratitude. Because you can't have one without the other. I mean, it goes both ways. So if E equals mc squared and energy in man, energy equals mass, and mass equals energy, and blah, 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 love equals joy, love equals beauty, love equals gratitude, and each one of those equals the other one. So we're in pretty good company there when we're talking about this sort of thing. Everybody get one of these today? I got one. Mine says, I experienced glorious dynamic energy today. I feel active and alive. And guess what? For that, I'm grateful. I'm in gratitude. So every once in a while, if you're kind of struggling to think of something to be grateful for, I can give you the big three that you can always remember and recall. Friends, family, and caller ID. Because when you want those friends or family to talk to, there they are. On the other hand, if you're just not really feeling up to it, there's that caller ID thing we got working for us. So, back to the reading of Sally, thank you very much, about the artist thing. The fact of the matter is, now I'm not what you'd call an artist. I mean, we're all artists of a fashion, but when you think of artists, you would never think of me. But I do know this. I know enough about art and artists to know that their ability to bring forth beauty in art, whatever their medium, is only because of the gratitude that they have within. Great art is not ever going to flow through an ungrateful heart or mind. It just isn't. So if we want to make our life our art, we got to start with gratitude. I mean, we just have to. We don't see the world as it truly is, right? I mean, we all know that. We don't see the world as it is. We see the world according to the feelings of our heart, according to where our consciousness is. That's how we see the world. Now, there's so many things to be in gratitude for. And before I start just listing off the 87 or 88 things I have to talk about being in gratitude for, I want to start with kind of a negative thing, because there are periods in history, and this is one of them, where negativity is kind of in the fore. I mean, my God, if you look at the news, and I don't want to talk about the news, but the fact is, we can only have a situation nationally and globally where lies and untruth and racial prejudice, bigotry, misogyny, and mean-spiritedness are in vogue when we're being surrounded and allowing ourselves to accept that consciousness from them of ingratitude. We don't need to do that. Are there going to be people around that are ungrateful? Of course there are. Do we have to buy into that? No. In fact, it's our our sacred duty to make sure that we don't. You know, it's the old adage about changing the world one person at a time. So if we want to change the world, we do it one person at a time, and we start right here. Now, when we're in that consciousness where we've got that eternal wellspring of gratitude flowing through us, when we're just immersed in it, and we're cognizant of it all the time, and in those moments where it might start sliding to the back of our mind, we pull it back up again. But when we get to that, then we can perhaps tutor gratitude. And of course, come on, if we were in school and we weren't the best mathematician, we'd get a math tutor, wouldn't we? Yet if we didn't know much about a language, we'd get a language tutor. And if we didn't know much about anything else, we'd get that tutor. So we can either get a tutor when we're feeling like we need a little buffing up of our gratitude consciousness, or we can be a tutor when we are full of it. Well, that didn't come out right either, did it? The webs we weave when we just start going off at the mouth. Or we can be a gratitude tutor. I say that very slowly. You know, we've always had this thing about, do we see the glass half empty or do we see the glass half full? I think that's a secondary question. I think the main issue with the glass should be, let's just be in gratitude for having that glass, for being that glass. Don't you see the glass is analogous to our container. These containers that we live in, these human bodies. And we can make that container full to overflowing. If we just respell the word grateful and spell it grateful, it can be full to the amount of great as long as we let it be. And then we can be grateful for that. There's nothing in this world that came as natural to it and with it and for it that is not to be grateful for. Oh yeah, as humans, we manage to conjure up and invent and make up all kinds of things that we might want to be ungrateful for, or not even that, but that we just don't want to be in gratitude for. And there's a difference of being ungrateful. We all know what ungrateful looks like. And then not being in gratitude. Well, not being in gratitude, that's just like Thomas Troward, the Edinburgh Lectures. I know we've all read that book. But in it, he talks about the law of averages. And when we are in that ingratitude state, when we're not full of gratitude, we are then just at that level of average. So raise your hand if you want to be average. That's not setting the bar very high. Let's set that bar at full of great, full of gratitude. And then we allow it to work through us. So how do we tutor gratitude? How do you tutor any God quality? We tutor it by modeling it, don't we? And make no mistake about it, we are modeling something every waking moment. Whether we're aware of it or not, we are modeling something. We can be modeling those angry emotions. We can be modeling indifference. And remember, indifference is the opposite of love. Remember, hate's not the opposite of love, although we like to think that immediately, but there's such a thin veil between those sorts of qualities. But indifference doesn't gain us anything, does it? Doesn't get us anywhere. So we can be that, or we can be in gratitude all the time. You know, that ancient philosopher Cicero told us that gratitude is the mother of all other virtues. There's not another single virtue or God quality that we can have if we don't have gratitude. And the more we display that gratitude and the more we keep it in our consciousness, the more of all the other God qualities we exhibit. They're all within us. But we don't want to keep them within. We want to model them without, so that the gratitude that we have for everything is displayed and modeled for those around us who maybe could use a little tutoring from time to time. So once again, amazingly, our founder, Ernest Holmes, Science of Mind, had something else to say about gratitude. He said this: if we wish to come to the Spirit for the healing of our wounds, because we all get wounds, let us come in peace and with spontaneous joy, for the Spirit is joy. Let us come with thanksgiving also, for a thankful heart is in harmony with life. Don't we all just always want to be in harmony with life? We're not put here to be at loggerheads with life. We're not put here to be in disharmony. We're put here to enjoy all the fruits, all the bounty, all the prosperity, all the abundance that is ours to claim. And it's all around us. Sometimes we kind of get those blinders on, right? Oh. Anybody ever watch a car race? You know how they race those, where they spend billions of dollars turning perfectly good petrol into fumes and loud noise, and they drive around this track, you know, for hours and hours and hours, it seems. You know why those race car drivers don't hit the wall? Because there's always a wall, but they drive at extreme speeds and close together, and they have to be paying attention. The reason they don't hit the wall is they don't pay any attention to it. Their attention is to everything else going on around them, everything that's important about the job at hand. And when you're not paying attention to it, it doesn't impact your life. So we want to not pay attention to those things that we cannot be grateful for, which are only things that are in and of themselves and by definition not gratitude-producing things. And those are all human constructs. God, no, Spirit didn't bring us any of that. We did not come with that, with those things that are involving ingratitude. Dr. Christian de Quincey, a current day philosopher out of Ireland, who does a lot of like upper graduate type classes here at some of the major universities, has this saying, consciousness knows and energy flows. Because sometimes we say, well, what's the difference between consciousness and energy? Isn't it all kind of the same thing? Well, no. Consciousness is that within us which knows. And not just within us, by the way. That's the consciousness from which we all come. That's the consciousness that allowed this creation we call us and Earth and the universe to come into being in the first place. It's that one mind which allowed it to be outpictured as what it is. But the energy is what flows. And if we allow that energy to flow toward those things that we know deep in, we know are not right, then we get all kinds of results that we don't want. So my question is, why would we do that? Like the race car driver who doesn't see the wall, we need to not see things like envy, jealousy, anger. Can they flare up from time to time? Hope so. Hope I'm not alone in that. But when they do, our job then is to get back to that first God-given gift, to that first quality, the mother of all the rest of the virtues. Get back to that gratitude. Because when we find something to be grateful for, we will stop putting our energy on those things that are untoward. And we can always, always, always find something to be grateful for. If we're not used to being grateful, it might be a slow start. Couldn't we and not us. Those in attendance, they don't have this gratitude problem, okay? But to be a gratitude tutor, it might be worth noting that for that person in our lives who's kind of on the negative side of things and doesn't understand how gratitude can turn his or her life around, if we could just get them to, at the end of the day, regardless of all the stuff they're going to be moaning about having gone through today, if we could get them to find one thing to be grateful for. And who can't find one thing? Because pretty soon, you have to start weeding. There's so many things, you got to start weeding through them to find out which one you want to put down today, which one you want to say, this is what I'm grateful for today. Because there's just so much. And if we can't find that depth of gratitude, and if they can't find it, if we can't help somebody find it, they're going to be living in emotional poverty. So we got lots of emotions. I mean, we got this whole range of emotions, but if we allow them to just run rampant, even though there's a lot of them there, we're still really basically living in emotional poverty. It only goes away when we replace things like materialism and envy and jealousy and like that. When we replace them with those positive God quality sorts of emotions, rather than allowing them to take the form. Yeah, I've been substitute teaching in a 4th grade class at this school where they do it a little different. They do this thing where the kids don't get up. They used to get up and go from one classroom to another, and the teacher would just wait for them to get in there. But with this COVID thing and not wanting that many kids mixing around, go figure. They had this idea, let's just rotate the teachers. So each teacher for each period goes to one of the classrooms. So they keep everything kind of coordinated. And one of the things that I really liked that caught my eye and candidly kind of surprised me, on the whiteboard in each room was written, expectation without communication is frustration. 4th grade. I thought, man, all I ever heard in 4th grade was shut up. Face forward. Expectation without communication is frustration. Don't we sometimes expect something from somebody and get really frustrated when we don't get it? And then if we were to examine the whole scenario we're thinking about, talking about, wouldn't we probably find that somewhere along the line something wasn't communicated? I can't expect you to do something if I don't let you know that's what I'd like for you to do. I can't expect you to be something unless I've let you know by my own habits, by my own way of life, by my own worldview, what it is I'm expecting. I'm communicating it in everything I think, say, and do, and therefore I can expect reasonably that you would understand that. And if not, we can just talk about it, right? You say, well, what do you want from me? Well, I'd like a little gratitude. I'd like a little happiness. I'd like a little camaraderie. Whatever it is we want. But don't we sometimes do that? Don't we do that when we're thinking in terms of, oh, I don't know, praying, say? Don't we just kind of wish to ourselves that there was some gigantic being who would step in on our behalf and provide for us what we want, but without providing the same sort of thing for everybody else? There's no God personality. There's no God that says, okay, Bill, I see what you want, and I know that so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so are going to have to give something up for this because your demands are pretty, self-centered. But if I, in gratitude, just like the Master Teacher Jesus, remember, he never asked for anything from God. Never asked for a thing. All he ever did was say, thank you for granting what I'm about to say is happening. Right? Thank you for granting this, and then here is what you granted. Is that clear communication with your divine aspect? That's as clear as you can be. And with that kind of communication, your expectation is going to get fulfilled. But the first step was the gratitude. The first step. And again, without that gratitude, how can we expect anything to ever happen? If we're not focusing on the things we don't want, the things we don't have, where's all that energy going to go? Where's all that focus going to go? That focus is going to go where it belongs, on what we do have, on what we do want. We have to be clear that we're not going to spend time. Yes, the law of attraction. What we think, we attract into our lives. We have to be clear that we don't spend time thinking about what we don't want. Why do we do that? We need to spend time thinking about what we want and expecting it to happen. And first saying, thank you, God, for making that happen. Because I know without that gratitude, I'm not going to be given anything. Gratitude, the root word comes from Latin. Of course, everybody speaks Latin. But the root word is grata. And it's the same root word, not just for gratitude, but for gratis. We've heard that word, right? Gratis. Oh, this is provided gratis. Well, it just means free. It's free to us. It doesn't cost us anything. It's free. It's also the root word for the word grace. Grace. Don't we all want to live in grace? Well, we can. And the best part about it is, it's free. So, from Grata, we get gratitude. We show that. We get the grace of God filling our lives with those things we want to have our lives filled with. And it's gratis. It's free. The Price is Right. We should start that show. Start a show called that. There's a song that was out a while back, and I don't think it was ever really particularly a popular song. I don't think it would ever hit the charts, as we say. And a lot of us wouldn't have heard it because I think it was played mostly on the country radio stations. But it was this gal, Leanne Rimes, and her song went in part, "I'll get even with you." And then she goes on to say, "For the hard times you helped me through." Don't we sometimes, come on, don't we sometimes think in the back of our mind, I'm going to get even with so-and-so? That's the wrong even to get. If we're going to get even with somebody, why wouldn't we get even with them for helping us? Which it really means what? You did something nice for me, I'll get even with you, I'll do something even nicer for you. So if we're going to have a battle in this thing called humanity, why don't we battle and battle to see who can outdo the other with the good things, not who can outdo each other with the not so good things. And we do that just by displaying that gratitude. Do you know that, I think it's in an Eskimo sect language, I forget what it is, but they say like there's 40 words. They have 40 words for snow. And there are some languages that just don't even interpret, because I mean some words in some languages that we or they just don't have a word for. I can't think of an example right offhand, but it generally has to do with those more primitive, say, peaceful, serene cultures that don't have words for some sort of weaponry or some sort of conquest or conflict or like that. But there is no language known on the face of the earth that doesn't have a word for gratitude. And gratitude is the basis of every major religion, spirituality, and philosophy that's ever been had on this planet. I wonder why that is. Because at bottom, regardless of who we are, where we came from, what language we speak, what we eat, how we dress, at bottom, we are all that basic component, spirit, having a human experience as us. Isn't that something to be grateful for? Because when we recognize that, we recognize that there is nothing that is not available to us if we lead with gratitude. And if we have people in our lives who aren't really adept at that, maybe it's time to try to tutor them. So let's just know together, just briefly, that gratitude is the wellspring from which all other God qualities flow. It is that imminent feeling, emotion, quality that we're just immersed in that allows everything good to happen to us and to happen in our lives. Buddhists they have a term they call royal generosity. And that's us. We are royal generosity because we are royalty. We are of the kingdom. We are direct divine heirs. And as such, gratitude is our main state. So let's not lose focus of that. When it starts to slide and slip, let's just bring it back and let's just know that when we are in gratitude, we are continuing that cycle of good. Cycle of good. All things are cyclic in this life, including this life. But what makes that cycle go around, the engine that drives it, the engine that pulls the good from it and keeps it reverberating through our lives, is gratitude. give thanks for this. I give thanks for the awareness of this and for the work that it does in my life and in the lives of all those who accept it and live it. So with a grateful heart, I just let this word go, saying, thank you, God. Thank you for gratitude. I let it go knowing it is the case, and together we say, and so it is. Let's just know that this is our opportunity in gratitude to share our abundance. We know that all of our good comes from that one source, God, and for this we are indeed grateful. Thank you for your continued support. It is this support that allows us to keep this center open and doing its good work. And thank you for those who are not yet in the sanctuary, but who are giving, tithing, donating online or through the website, or by mail, or by auto tithe, or just coming down here and visiting with a practitioner during the week to get a little prayer to go along with your offering of abundance. So thank you. So I know that we bless these gifts, these tithes, these offerings, knowing that they are given from the central core of who we are, which is God made manifest on this plane. We send these gifts forward to do their great work in this community, spiritual community, the community at large, and the world, with no strings attached. So it is.
Grateful for each hand we hold, gathered round this table. From far and near we travel home, blessed that we are able. Grateful for this sheltered place, with light in every window. Say welcome, welcome, share this feast. Come in away from sorrow. Father, mother, daughter, son, neighbor, friend, and friendless, all together, everyone, in the gift of loving kindness. Grateful for what's understood and all that is forgiven. We do our best to be good, to lead a life worth living. Father, mother, daughter, son, neighbor, friend, and friendless, all together, everyone. Let grateful days be endless. Grateful for each hand we hold, gathered round this table.
Oh, once again, Terry Wilder, Tommy Cosentino, thank you, thank you, thank you. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me
this thing called life.
It's this thing called life.
It's this thing called love.
It's this thing called love.
It's this thing called gratitude.
It's this thing called gratitude.
I am so grateful for all of that.
I am so grateful for all of that.
I just say thank you, God, in me.
Thank you, God.